Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more waterfowl patterning. And we're out here this morning on a cold and really blustery morning. Hey, we're not calling for this. The temperature's not that cold, but man, the wind is just howling and it is freezing out here. So we're going to try and work around all the wind noise today and stuff like that. But I do apologize if there's any background noise. There's not much I can really do about it. But either way, we've got an interesting combination out here today with a new load that we have not tested on the channel yet. And one that I am definitely looking forward to trying out and seeing how good it can actually perform. So for the shell I've got out here today to test, I picked up some of these, the Federal Black Cloud loads. These are a 12 gauge, 3 inch, 1 1/4 ounce of steel number 2s going about 1450. And these do have the flight control flex wad in them. And that flight control wad has shown some really good patterns from what we've tested so far on the channel in like the buckshot loads. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what it can do with a load of steel shot like this in a waterfowl load. So as for the setup I've got out here today, I brought out this guy. This is my Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag here, and I threw in this choke. Now this is the stock modified choke, which is typically what I like to use when I'm running waterfowl loads. But since this is a flight control wad setup here in these shells, the modified choke might not be the best performing option we have in this gun, but it's at least where I'm going to start with testing today. And we can move up and down in constriction from here. So we're going to start with the stock modified choke just to get ourselves a baseline. So with that being said, the testing is going to be the same as usual. I have a duck target set up at 40 yards. I also have the chronograph, so we'll be able to see how close we actually get to the box posted 1450. So let's get you guys a view of this target, and I'll head up and take the shot. Then we'll glance at what kind of speed we had, and we'll go down and see how they performed. So let's head over here and shoot them and see what these Federal Black Cloud shells can do. Okay, so that shell gave us 1435 through the chrono. So definitely moving out pretty quick. The box was claiming 1450, so we're pretty much right there. I would say if we fired a few more rounds, we would definitely probably see that 1450. So definitely not anything too out of the ordinary here. But how did they actually shoot down range? Let's go take a look and see. Alright, well, we're now down at our 40-yard paper here, and this is some pretty interesting results, I guess I could say. Not really what I expected. Now, as you might notice, there is a distinct lack of pellets on this duck here. We had a couple that just barely clipped the edges of the wings, but as for the duck pattern, there's like nothing on the paper there. But if we back up and look, the rest of the pattern is surrounding that duck target. It's almost like there's a giant hole right in the middle of this pattern. So definitely not at all what I was expecting to see, and not at all what you want to see in a waterfowl pattern for sure. I mean, maybe one or two of those pellets in the corner of the wings would have kind of wounded that bird enough to get a second shot, but that's not at all what you want to see right there. But as you can see, we have shot pretty relatively evenly spread all the way around the outskirts of this paper here, but just nothing right in the middle there where you would want it to be. When I was first walking down range to look at this, I thought that I had just missed the target somehow. But then when I got close enough to see the other impacts, that was like not what I wanted to see or was expecting to see at all right there. I mean, that is probably one of, if not the worst waterfowl patterns that we've tested and seen so far. Now, I still think this load deserves a few different chokes and stuff like that to be tested through to really determine or not if this is a halfway decent load or not. But to start out with here, this load through that stock modified choke is definitely not a combination that I would want to take out after some ducks or something. Okay, and here's the wad out of that shell, and it's definitely a flight control wad, but this one is black and it has this little pointy bit out the back, so that's definitely pretty interesting. But overall, nothing really too special to see here. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of the sticky stuff right here that they use to seal the end of the shell crimp, I think. So I mean, maybe that might have gotten a little bit sticky or grabbed the choke or something weird. I really don't know. But either way, this is not what I was really expecting in this shell here as far as performance goes. And for anybody who's curious, here's what the shells look like. As you might be able to see, they do have some kind of a sealant on the top of the crimp right there, which is definitely a positive. But as for the rest, pretty typical, just kind of what looks like maybe a nickel plated base here with potentially what looks like maybe some more of that same sealant around the primer. So definitely I think these are pretty well sealed, but I don't know how well they actually performed. I mean, maybe that sealant might have stuck some pelts together or something weird and caused them to do what they did today. I really don't know on this one. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that pattern right there? That was not at all what I was expecting to see. And not at all what you really want to see out of a waterfowl pattern. I mean, it clearly has like a big giant hole right in the middle of the pattern for one reason or another. We have more shots surrounding the outskirt edges than we do across the whole middle of that pattern. Definitely pretty strange, pretty interesting, and not at all what we would really want to see. But let me know your thoughts about it. What do you think happened, went wrong, or has this just been your experience with how these shells shoot as well? But either way, I definitely want to bring these out here a couple more times at least and try them through some different chokes and just see what happens. Maybe we run them through the 1187 because they might not like the 835. I don't know. Let me know what you guys might want to see. But with that being said, we do have an Instagram now as well where you can go over there and see some sneak peeks every so often of what we're up to. So if you would like to go check that out, I'll leave the link in the description for you. But I'm going to get back to testing and hopefully fighting this ridiculous wind out here today. So on that note, I'll see y'all in the next one.